how important is it for you to have that like that bounce back of like people to send your art to versus just like trusting your gut with it?
I'm such a shy person. Like I actually don't really even share my art that often. But it is important. It is very important because Underdog Academy is, you know, they were my
I love it, dude.
They were my group to begin with. Like ever since I started poetry, like that's who I walked in with. So to know that the people that really inspired me to be here when I didn't even know that poetry was still a thing.
When you say still a thing, you mean like just
like actively,
like people were actively still doing it rather than just like an old time kind of practice?
I didn't even know open mics were happening. I didn't know slams were happening. I didn't know people performed and got paid to do poetry. Had no idea. And I just knew I was writing it somewhat. And so one day I saw King of Dayton Poetry Slam. I think Tripp was the only person I knew that was actually doing poetry. And so like I literally sent him some of my work before like I got out there. He had never responded, but we talked about that. Sure. But the only people that I really send my work to is Underdog Academy.
That's like the core.
Yeah, because I really, really trust their perspective. And I trust that they're going to be honest with me.
See, that's that part. That's the part with, just like with creativity, I think that we don't have enough people that we can have be honest with you. For me, like I'll send something to somebody and they're like, oh man, it's great. I'm like, but I want it to be better.
Right.
You know, like there's certain tiers of excellence with art, I think. But but then there's also just, for me, the expression part. So it's figuring out like what matters more. And I think the things that I'm trying to express, I don't need anybody's feedback on.
Yeah.
But if it's like something that I'm trying to sell or if it's something that I'm trying to create with somebody else, it's like, man, that collaborative process is so good.
Right. That's where I got into like, at least when people are asking me for my feedback, I'm like, okay, what type of feedback do you want? What are you looking for? What do you want to improve? And most of the time, oh no, I just want feedback. Like, well, I mean, generally, like it's pretty good. Like that's where you want it. But if you're wanting to improve a certain aspect of it, then I would prefer you tell me what it is before I just start, going in and you like, I ain't even asked for all that because I don't want to be that guy. But we can really go through it if you want to go through it.
I think that's it. I think it's for me. It's asking those questions of like, do you just want me to say it's good? Like, are you just like trying to like feel the insecurity, or do you genuinely actually want it to get better?
Yeah.
And if so, is it like, man, I feel like my cadence is off here. I feel like the message isn't landing, or too many cuss words, or whatever. I mean, I don't know. Like, what specifically are you looking for? But, dude, congrats on the show.
Thank you,
man.
Thank you.
Baritone Hue, like, gosh, man, how'd it feel?
Bigger than my body. That I felt that before the show started, as I was leading up through Tech Week from the final dress rehearsal, leading into the show, I'm just like, like I feel like I drank 3 or 4 energy drinks and I'm doing nothing with the energy. Like I'm like, I have to do something, but there's nothing that was going to satisfy it besides performing the show. And so like eventually I just was walking around the stage, like reciting the pieces and trying to go over it all. But even still, it's like that didn't satisfy us. Like I just need to go out there. I just need to, finally put it on stage, and then I'll feel better.
Sold out, right?
The last show, the Saturday show, was sold out.
How'd that feel? Was that your first sold out show?
No,
it wasn't. You sell it all the time. That's my bad.
The first one. So the show came in 2024, in its first iteration. I don't know if you know about like workshops in theater. So like a workshop in theater is a prototype of a project, a musical, a play, whatever, and they are putting it bare bones on stage in front of audience. Nobody's really acting. There's no real set design, but we're reading the script as best we can to bring it to life. And it's
like
mostly
everybody's got papers in their hands and like doing that whole thing. Okay,
and that's about it. So we were supposed to do that in 2024. Instead, we ended up still being able to work in light and sound, and we brought together like the basic stage props, like the black boxes and some chairs, and just moved around the stage stage the same way the show was set up, just without the extras. So there was no visuals, there was no band, there was no set design, just me, the stage, and those few things. So that show actually got really close to selling out. Really, really close to selling out. So I won't say, I like to say that it sold out, but you know, it wasn't in exact. But yes, that was the first.
Like this sold out show, like extra seats were added, kind of sold out. You know what I mean? Like
people were flooded outside.
Yeah,
on
that's
the side,
an
so
actual sellout show.
Yeah,
that's good.
That
man.
was dope.
So it's Baritone Hue. Give me a little bit of obviously I know what the two words mean together, but where'd that come from for you? Like, I know you were in Paris. Is that when all that came to fruition for you, or like how'd this all start?
Man, it played out one by one.
Did it?
I didn't even know what it was going to be while I was in Paris. I just know I wanted to create something. I just knew I was going to Paris.
Like from that experience?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to. Like, it wasn't even, it
you
wasn't
talk
even
about that
I
in the
knew.
show.
Yeah.
It's like, man, like people are counting on you because we all, like,
Legit.
your fans sent you there.
Legit.
In a sense, you know? Like your community sent you there. So it's like, I got to bring something back for them.
Right. I felt very pressured by that. And so that was like all that was on my mind a lot of times was like, I'm collecting the experience. I'm trying to be present, but how is this going to add up to the show? How is this going to be what I'm looking for it to be? And I don't even know what I'm looking for it to be, right? I just know that I need something to come from this, or else I feel like I'll look like a fraud. I feel like I just took a vacation to Paris, and that was what people supported me to go do, was take a vacation. And it took me a lot to even ask for fundraising for that, because it's like, what if people do think I'm just trying to go vacation in Paris? Like, and that's not my goal at all. It was a complete artist journey. It was definitely professional development. And so Baritone Hue came just like by itself, that was it. Just straight to the head. And I was like, all right, I got to write it down. I don't know what this is. I don't know what it means, but it's fire.
Dude.
And it's
I was
here.
telling Zach, I'm like, it's called Baritone Hue. I'm like, bro, like, what is that? Like deep black or deep dark, or what's that? You know what I mean? Like the core, I'm like, oh my God, dude.
But guess what it was going to be?
What was it going to be?
I was going to name it Larger, Freer, and More Loving.
Okay.
And that's the face.
Yeah,
that's the face everyone gives.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Why would you?
Well, after, because we already know what it could have became, right? Like, name that like any other, like, what if Apple decided to be, orange? You're like, why the hell would you do that? Well, it's like after. We already know.
I know.
So,
and that's
it would have been cool too.
I hope so.
But Baritone Hue, man.
Yeah, man. So that name, once I sat with its meaning in application to the show, it all became really, really clear. But I first wrote it down just because it sounded like a cool name. It just came to me, it hit me, and I'm like, all right, this just needs to be recorded, because I've been writing everything else down. I need to write this down, and I started in my notebook. And so when I finally wrote the show, we're in rehearsal practicing already. I done already named it Larger, Freer, and More Loving. And me and Dana are like, Dana, my director, we're like, what's the show name again? And we're like trying to put it in the schedule.
Over and over. Yeah.
And we're just like, it's not landing right. So we just started calling it Spoken Word Special, and then until another name hit. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got the name. I wrote it down already. It's Baritone Hue. And so just like, obviously I think the surface level being like my voice and using my voice as this instrument, and just being tied to like color, the aspect of especially Black culture and color, the reality of how much baritone or deep tones of sound and voice have played a huge role in liberation for Black people, has played a big role in just comfort for Black people, whether it be songs, chants, any type of thing like that. And then just like how it also plays a big role in love, and like how, the old school jams were deep voices and like always the love songs, right? And then you got the just tones of color and depth, and just aspect of depth in general of like how I believe our culture kind of shows up, and how it plays out in layers in so many different ways. And that's layers in tone of voice and audio, but also layers and tones of color as well, and just how that just constantly plays in and out of itself depending on who you're asking, you know what I mean? So it was just, the other thing was like, I heard Black culture described as beautiful pain. and Baritone Hue felt like the abstract translation for beautiful pain, and it was just something that kind of just stuck. And as I continued to
And it was
live
dope.
with the
You know what I
word,
mean? So it's like,
thank you. As I continued to live with it, man, it just continued to prove itself. And I
Yeah.
was just like, yeah, this is it.
now you think that's like, is that going to be the name of the show only, or you got bigger plans with like that whole idea of Baritone Hue?
Man, I am thinking about ideas.
You don't have to
for
talk about
the
them. I'm just more
overall
curious,
concept,
you
for
know,
sure.
like, yeah.
I have a lot of ideas, so many ideas.
Well, I saw like just at your art show, you had just like your notebook just open, you know, I obviously open flipping through it, but like you said something on there. And I talked to you about it. It was like, what was it? It was maybe,
Healing,
maybe healing is punishment.
or what if healing was punishment?
What
Something
if,
like that.
what if healing was punishment, man? What's that feel like? Like, where'd that come from? Just one of those like
It
aha moments?
definitely one of those aha moments. I think I was probably reading at the time. A lot of the notes that I took in the notebook were like me walking around Paris, me sitting at a park, reading a book, listening to some type of James Baldwin speech, and just thinking about questions. And I just was thinking about violence in the world, honestly. And it's like, why do humans believe that violence is the best way to get other humans to understand their perspective, to get them to listen, to obey and respect? And it's like, even as parents, like, we whoop our kids to try to like get them to understand the lessons. And it's like, what if healing was the punishment? What if really supplying them with discipline and not necessarily forcing them, but like essentially like, you ain't got no option but to heal through this. Like, and you ain't nothing to do besides confront your trauma, confront what you're going
It's painful,
through.
you know?
Yeah.
Sure.
And one of my favorite artists, Ab-Soul, and I don't even think he had released a song at the time that I wrote that, but I did later find out that he wrote this song where he came in saying, it's always kill or be killed, not heal or be healed. And I'm just like, damn, that just made me think about it. Like, why do we always resort to violence instead of being like, why can't healing be the option? So it's just one of those things, man. It's like trying to change people's perspective, make them think about their choices, their
What
pathways.
does healing even look like?
That's a good question. I think it looks different for everybody. I think that's something that everybody has to figure out.
Well, I'm talking
for
like
themselves.
collectively.
For
you know
sure.
what I mean? Like how do we even approach like healing? You know, whether it's a nation or a culture or even lineage of a family, dude. Like, you know,
it's deep.
it's tough.
Very, so hard. And I think that's the avoidance. The reason why it's avoided is because like, nah, that's harder than just going to, bury myself in a bottle or going out to the club to distract myself constantly or whatever else that we use. But it is hard. It requires a lot of intentionality and moving out of our own way and talking to people that we really not ready to make up with yet. And some people just rather be stuck and rather be stubborn, rather be mad.
Man, I always say like, I mean, oddly enough, like depression feels good sometimes.
It
because it's at
does.
least something.
Yeah.
Like if I'm not feeling this, at least I'm feeling this.
And especially if it's tied to your identity, you feel like it's a part of it's just your life. That's just where you at.
Yeah.
What's his name? A New Earth, a book by Eckhart Tolle. Kendrick references it in his last Miss Morale and the Big Steppers a lot, and they talk about the pain body in that book. And that was one of the first books I read as I was in the process of my own healing journey that really took me there. And I'm just like, damn, that actually makes a lot of sense. Like there's this part of us that at some point was fully formed around that pain, around that depression in that era of your life. And now you're like, this is all I am. This is all I know. If I let go of this, like, then who am I?
What's left?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that scares people too. It scared me for sure.
Yeah, man. Identity is a big one, man. Like, I have a friend who, he had like cancer or whatever. And it was like his thing. You know what I mean? Like it became like how he identified everything around it, and that's cool. Like it's fine, I guess. But like at some point it's like, well, what else? Like you survived. That's awesome. Like what else? And I think, it's like a good friend of mine, man, he's in recovery and it's like, but now he's just addicted to sobriety. You know what I mean? It's like still the same thing, but different. Like, you know what I mean? Like he still has the same output, I guess, if that makes sense. And I always say that if you're actually healed, you probably won't think about it. You know, healing. Right. Like, oh yeah, I forgot that's who I was, or I forgot.
Legit.
God, I forgot that happened in a healthy way. Obviously, you can bury stuff, but oh man,
sure.
Didn't mean for this to get heavy like that.
We was just talking about.
I know it's either let's laugh a bunch or like, dude, we either laugh or cry. I don't want much in the middle, but
for sure. You
think we landed on the moon? You think we're on the moon? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. You remember in the show, I was questioning whether the world is actually
portal,
one
bro.
round.
I know that's where I'm going with this. Like,
we might actually be in a whole another dimension. We might not even be on a planet called Earth. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. Like, where do you think we are?
Who fucking knows?
Who knows?
I'm so tired.
Also, who cares a little bit?
Yeah, because I'm never gonna make it there. Like, I never wanted to be an astronaut when I was younger, so I'm not gonna find out what's past the sky. Like, not in person. So,
yeah.
Whatever story y'all trying to say.
Yeah, you said something, dude. I'm gonna butcher it, but basically you were talking about you flew over the ocean and you just kept falling asleep, and you're like, how the hell do I know if I actually am even over the ocean, or did they just like push a button and I just like transported to somewhere else? And like, what is time? And it was hilarious because like that's how my brain goes. And I've been to like some of your like poetry shows, but that was different. I mean, you went like an hour and a half in this like. It was acting, it was storytelling, it was it was beautiful.
Thank you.
Sure, but like I was also I don't think I've laughed at a show that much.
Word.
Like it was hilarious. Like I got the humor, you know, like 'cause there was a lot of those little nuggets of like I know you really didn't think you were in a portal, but maybe you did. You know what I mean? Like and that's where the funny part was, because I'm like, dude, I bet he did think he was like he was questioning it. I bet
Absolutely.
He was.
I wrote that piece in the airport at the gate right before I got on the plane. I was like,
who even knows where I'm going to do? Like,
right, legit.
I'm trusting all these people. Like,
long ass flight. I'm looking out the window. I can't see shit. Like,
yeah, dude. I'm like, how far away actually is that? You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. That definitely freaked me out. And on top of that, like, I'm scared of heights. So it's like
that doesn't help any.
I'm in this plane high up in the sky.
Trusting like a couple people up there just make sure you get
literally
there, you know?
like just guiding across the sky. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? How am I supposed to?
What do I do? Yeah,
am I supposed to ground myself in some type of belief that I'm okay? Like, I have no idea where I am.
Wait, dude, we're going 700 miles an hour over the Atlantic Ocean.
So
like, I can't be okay with that.
Definitely, that's my only way to deal with it was like, this feels like magic. This feels like
it is
talking
magic,
about.
Dude. I'm just saying, like, I think it's still magic. Even, like, we use the word technology, but dude, some of this stuff, like
science. They say science and magic,
bro. It's like oh, let's just take these metals and fuse them together, and then you can
Legit.
communicate with each other. It's like
legit.
That's pretty magical. I'm just saying.
Baritone Hue has for sure made me start to look at what I do and who I would compare, myself to as like an artistic technology or a spiritual technology.
Oh wow, okay.
And that's why,
because technology is just a tool, right? Is that where you're going with this? Okay.
And it when you start to realize the overlap between spirituality and science, you start to find like, oh, like these are the same things. They're just explaining it differently. Science has to have things like really, really proven, but the spiritualists are like, I'm a part of the earth. I can feel the things that are also made of me as well. And like, I trust.
It's kind of like you'll figure it out eventually if you keep studying it enough.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But I'm just here now with it.
And it's like, I'm not a scientist, but like a lot of the things that I've sat and thought about and discovered on my own are things that I did go find proof and research for to help expand that. And I mean, when you think about it, where do scientists originally get these ideas from? Philosophers, and they were just sitting around questioning shit. How did this get here? How is this happening? You don't step in the same river twice. Like, what does this even mean? But like the fact that you sat there long enough to just allow your intuition and your thought process to take you there, and then look closely enough to actually study it and find out, you know what, my brain actually does take me to places that are real truth in this existence. But it's not like, I don't say that as if like anybody can just go stand anywhere and be like, I'm a scientist now and I know quantum theory and that's it. But like for real, being able to break down our artistic concepts in order to help conceptualize our lives and what we go through, that is for sure, I think, technology. And I think it's important that we see it that way. And I think maybe it's important to call it technology because of how much technology has taken place and value in our society right now, and almost pushed artistry out. It's like, no, artistry
Rather
isn't
than like
separate.
seeing it as an equal.
Exactly.
Even more,
Artistry
maybe
is a
sometimes,
part of that.
Yeah.
I mean, even to the fact that we're using ChatGPT to create art, it's like, why would you use technology to create art if it had nothing to do with one another? Like they are both absolutely like in the same realm. And as a sci-fi lover, as a lover of science, as a person who went to college for engineering, I'm like, I still have a love for that type of diving into reality and knowledge, but I just choose to explore it through a different medium. And so poetry, I feel like writers anyway have to.
How could you not, right?
Right.
I feel like, yeah.
Because you have to learn, you have to go research in order to be a writer. You have to, everything you want to write about, you got to go research in some capacity, in a lot of different layers of capacities, because how are you going to be able to speak for that character? How are you going to be able to really paint the picture? How are you going to be able to tell the details if you don't do the research to say, this is what I was thinking, this is what I found, let me put it in this form, then it's attractive to people. Even if it's not from this timeline, you know.
How do you? Where does like marketing fit into all that as far as storytelling? I'm a marketer by like trade, but like, where's that line between marketing and artistry, and like, where does manipulation lie in that? I always wrestle with that, as like, you can really get anybody to want anything, you know, but it's like, how do you make it authentic? And
right. That's a good question.
we can leave it. I don't know. Like,
I think about that a lot, really, though.
Yeah.
Like, I think, because, you know, we said we wasn't going to dive too much into work, but at work, I do the presentations for prevention. Prevention for a lot of different topics. We're going to specifically talk about gambling prevention for this scenario. And one thing I talk about with gambling is that, like, you know, nowadays we see a lot of advertisements pop up. Gambling, try gambling, do a free bet, this and that. And so people think like, oh, the gambling's just new, it's popping up on my timeline. Like, how does this algorithm keep showing me these things? How they listening on my conversation, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, the reason we got there is because people who are in marketing, people who are strategic marketers, literally understand demographics and the psychographics for those demographics.
That's what
in
I'm
order
talking
to
about.
understand like what you like and what you don't like. What
I
are you
studied
giving
human
into?
factors. You know what I mean? Like,
and so it can
it's part
really
of
be
it.
it can really be used for evil, and it can be used for good. And I think Baritone Hue, what I will speak on from that perspective of marketing and how we try to like kind of make it come to life, because I think a lot of people really connected with the marketing and branding of
y'all did a really good job.
event. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's been something I've been trying to get down for a long time.
That's hard.
But like,
y'all were consistent, and that's a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, that's 3/4 the battle.
And
Just
it
being
was like,
consistent with it.
let's figure out how to tell the story without giving away the story. It was like, what is the background? What is the details? What is the backdrop to Baritone Hue? What world does this live in? And how can we fully create that aesthetic? And just the fact that I called it Baritone Hue had already given me the feel for it, because another part of the title was like seeing life through a baritone hue, through a lens of Baritone Hue, right? So I'm like thinking about, if I could give it a color, if I could give it a filter, if I could give it a way of looking at things, this marketing, this story is what I would want it to look like. So everything that we put out there for people to see is exactly the type of vision we wanted people to start looking through life at, or the vision we wanted to portray that Baritone Hue was going to be told in. And so making it that way, it was just like, people are scrolling through their timeline and then they get caught into this little portal, this marketing portal of the show, and we're like trying to get them to, you know, to get them drawn into it. But I believe it's really important to storytelling. Again, just being a part of a capitalist system, it has a lot of downfalls and a lot of evils to it. But I think inherently though, like, marketing is,
it's just a powerful tool, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just like anything, you use it good, bad,
Legit.
evil, whatever. Like,
Legit.
medicine,
Right.
like, same thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. And I think
use it how you
I think
want,
that's
but-
what we need in order to really make the revolution irresistible. In order to make healing irresistible. What is the marketing for healing,
bro? Like
right?
for real though, you know what
Literally,
I mean? Like,
right now it looks like hospitals mostly. It's starting to look like more of a spiritual lens and everything, but it still has like this connotation to it that people just aren't entirely liking yet.
I feel like there's this big gap between sterile and like extreme spirituality. You know, like there's not this like middle ground a little bit of like, no, there's this middle space that's not that or this. You know what I mean? It's not overly this or overly that. It's a little bit of a combination of both. But
yeah.
Anyways, what else, man? What else is going on?
What else is going on?
Like what's the like? You were talking earlier about just like the build up of the show that you just had to get it out. So then it was like out. Like what was that recovery like? Because like I imagine it was a lot.
I'm still in it.
Are you? Okay. Thanks for being here regardless, man.
For sure.
I mean, thank you.
A part of my recovery is like talking about the show though.
Okay.
One thing I used to do with a really good friend of mine, and we still do, is like every time we would get done with a show, like we're up that night talking about it.
Just late.
All the things, like what the people were doing, how they came in, what it was like before the show started, the performances, what we took from it, everything. And like and maybe you got the feel from the story itself, but I love dissecting life in general, but especially stories, movies, TV shows. I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna go through it like, oh, what can I get from this? What did this tell me? What did this teach me? What did they do?
Like,
right? You know what I'm saying? And I'm watching it over and over. I will tell people like, hey, I watched this. I loved it. You should watch it. Matter of fact, I'll watch it with you.
Yeah,
I
let me
just
watch you watch
yesterday.
it. Let's be creepy. Let's do that.
Did you get that? You paying attention? You know, like that's definitely me.
Is that you?
For sure.
I'm the guy that's like, I'm laughing and I'm like laughing at the person. Like,
right.
Are you laughing? You're not laughing?
Why aren't you crying?
You know? Like, yeah, why aren't you crying?
So like talking about the show is absolutely a part of my recovery, but I am still in recovery. I think it is about taking my time. I need days off work. When I do shows, I don't work a day of a show if I can help it. For a show like this, 4 shows in 2 days, I needed that Sunday off, and I had to take Monday off, and I had to take half a day Tuesday off. And I needed to sit, and I needed to do nothing. I needed to exist. I needed to be reflective enough, not critical, but in a way that would celebrate what I accomplished. Because regardless of what happened, I did what I wanted to do. I brought my vision to life, and I loved it, and I enjoyed it, and I needed to just sit in that. Because before, younger me was so much in the hustler mentality that's like, all right, it's done, on to the next.
What's next?
Legit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, let's let this breathe. Let's let this sit. And it's definitely a part of my ritual to just decompress. Also, like, creation is a lot. And word to all the mothers out there that are creating humans. I'm not even doing a fraction of that, and it's a lot to put out work. You know what I mean? So, yeah, definitely got to
shout out to the moms for sure. Too. Like,
for sure.
Like I got 4 little ones. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like it's a lot.
It's a whole lot.
Always, it's a lot. No, I was gonna ask, like, do you think that your decompression? Do you think because of what you're putting out takes more out of you than if you were, you know what I mean? Like, because of how. I mean, it's intimate and it's personal, it's vulnerable, and it's like you know, just standing out there in your words naked. You know what I mean? Just like,
legit.
Here they all are. Like, thank you for paying money for all this.
I know,
like,
right?
I hope you feel what I felt putting it out. You know, like,
yeah. And I'm definitely looking at people like, oh, did you enjoy it? Did you get something from it?
It's like you want that so bad.
Yeah.
But then there's probably this part, at least for me, I don't mean to speak for you, but for me, I'm like, I want to feel what they felt. Just, or vice versa, where I'm like, y'all felt that, right? Like, we were there together. You experienced that, you know, because I'm like, when I create something, a lot of times I feel like it's not even me doing the creation part. You know, it's just, it was created. Yeah. I just happened to be it for whatever it was. Y'all felt that, right? Like, y'all felt that together? Okay, cool. Like, I'll do it again. But you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it was, like, I know it was you, but I did feel like there was also not you up there at times, you know?
It's for sure the process of being a vessel. A lot of stuff that notebook that I had of notes and ideas, like a lot of stuff I don't even remember writing. I don't remember at all, and I'm just like, damn, I wrote that. I was thinking about that. I questioned that. Like I just wrote it, kept going.
Or did you? You know what I mean? Like,
and it's like, and that's where the part of the show was like, God isn't just showing me poetry. We were collaborating on group pieces that played out in real life in real time. And it was that understanding of like, yeah, God is really writing through me. I got another brand that's hopefully gonna come out. I ain't gonna say the name, but
next time.
yeah. But like I love just allowing myself to be that, allowing my gifts to play out.
Yeah, just like open, right?
It feels so great.
Do you ever feel like conflict with that as far as like, I don't want to do that?
Absolutely.
But then the ask is still there and you're like, nope, not doing it. And you're like, okay, I'll do it. Like, you feel that too?
That's how I got here.
Yeah.
In poetry.
That's just how I did it in the first place.
I was in college for computer engineering. Somehow I'm sitting on my mom's couch and I just get to writing, and I'm just like, huh.
Where'd that come from though? Did you like experience someone writing, or were you just like, I think I'm gonna start writing today? You know what I mean? Like, what was that like?
I wanted to be a rapper.
Did you? Okay, yeah, sure.
I love
get
music.
Yeah,
I love, and music just continues.
You said Absol. Who else?
Kendrick, Absol,
sure.
J. Cole, Drake. I was definitely in that generation. Some of them fell off, some of them stayed.
I get it.
But I grew up on like neo soul, R&B, old school soul, Erykah Badu, Corinne Bailey Ray, Jill Scott, Lauryn Hill. Like I lived with my mom, so she was playing a lot of these
like the female artists and stuff.
Women in CEs, women singers, but they was talking about something, and it was always introspective, and it made me think. Even the feel of the music made me think, and so as I got older, my dad introduced me to jazz, and like I was just always present with music. I was never listening to music in a way that was just passive and just like, oh, I need some background.
Yeah, same, for sure.
So when I got to the point of really being able to pick my own music and find my own artist, and I think this really wasn't until middle school, high school, then that's when I started kind of, really making music a part of the soundtrack of my life and like what's going on with me and like helping me move through certain emotions. And when I got to college, I was just like, man, I'm really in love with rap right now. Like, and I just love the different types of flow. I love the different types of styles. And so at that time, Kendrick was definitely my height. And I'm just like,
what album do you think that was? Was that like pre-Damn or was it
Good Kid, Mad City? For sure.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
And I had a friend that was a pretty right. So hype, everything.
Bro,
like,
every single, I'm with you. We could talk that another time, but for sure.
For sure. I'm always down to talk music.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine that was a producer, and he made beats all the time. And you just make them because he enjoyed making them, and then we would just like freestyle over them because that's
there's
just
no
what we
better
love.
energy than a studio session though. Like I've been fortunate to be in a few. You know what I mean? And
So
you're just
hype.
like, God, dude, like you see this happening right now.
Raw creation
like,
in the moment.
Yeah,
Nothing
dude.
more
Oh
beautiful.
my God, dude, it doesn't get better. Yeah, it doesn't get better.
And so I'm like, I want to be a rapper. I'm a start. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna write. I asked my friend for a beat, picked up my notebook, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
It's a good place to start. That's a bar.
I don't even know if I wrote a line or anything, but it just was like, all right, I'm done. And then one day in college, I was getting ready to study for a final, and I had some Adderall from a friend, my producer friend, and I'm like, all right, I need to study. I'm gonna get into it. Never studied. Went straight to writing, and I'm like, after I finished that, I ain't give a fuck about studying. I'm just like, hey, I wrote this rap, this fire verse. And I spit it for my friends, and one of my friends was
those
like,
Addy bars are different.
I know, right? Oh, so different. And I spit it. My friend was like, that's a good spoken word. And I'm like, man, fuck you. This ain't supposed to be no spoken word. This is a verse.
Do you hear that?
And so like,
what an insult.
Really at the time, I'm like, what?
Like, dude, dang.
So
that's a country song. You're like, bro, what?
Right, basically. So I put it down. I was like, all right, maybe this ain't for me. I don't know what I'm doing. And then when life just hit and nothing else was there to help me or support me, writing came back and was like, let's just talk about it. Let's express it. And I would just share that with people. And so that was just really how it ended up coming out, was just being this voice of expression. And then like, because I wanted to rap, I also wanted to include that style of just wordplay into my poetry. And because I didn't have a beat now, like it made it a lot more freeing for me to navigate that. And then my love for math and science and problem solving transferred from those concepts into writing.
Yeah,
and then it started just all kind of coming together from there.
Yeah. No, I see that for sure. Because you had, what was it? What instruments did you have there? Obviously, you had like those bongo drums. What else do you have?
Full percussion. Well, I'm gonna say
percussion?
full percussion, but definitely some percussive elements.
But it just adds so much.
So much.
Like it's crazy.
It's so much texture to like what's going on. I had a bass player, stand up bass, and then I want to say he had a horn of some type. I want to say it was a trumpet, but I could be wrong. But yeah.
Man, I grew up in a house. We didn't like my folks didn't really listen to music much, and I grew up in like a small country town. But I would discover hip hop through my cousins. But then also like I'd like ride my bike to the library and just like rent a CD, and they wouldn't check your ID if it had parental advisory on it. You know what I mean? So like, dude, one of the first CDs I read, this is hilarious. It was like the Source hip hop hits or something like that, bro. It was hard for one. Like I was like
Makes
sixth
sense.
grade or something. You
Makes
know,
sense.
we went for it. But then like one of the first albums I ever bought was I don't know if it was embarrassing or just super cool. It was Janet Jackson, bro. Like, bro, bought Janet.
That's not bad.
No, dude, it was
That's not
solid.
bad.
It was Janet Jackson. I bought Tribe, Q-Tip.
Fire.
Then I had like Matchbox 20 and like Third Eye Blind. Like I still love all my rock and country and all that stuff. But yeah, what it did for me was it just opened up a world of understanding. I think that's a whole nother topic of conversation. But like,
Absolutely.
it just, like you were saying with Lauryn Hill, like her album, like, oh damn, dude, like similar. Like I'm the guy that's like CDs, you're reading the lyrics and like figuring out what it's about and stuff, and in that era, I'm a good bit older than you are, but you didn't have social, you didn't have, you had no idea what was going on outside of your country hometown, so it was pretty cool to experience some of that and then see it come full circle into my life now with just friends and art and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, are you taking this on the road, Baritone Hue?
That's the plan.
Okay. Do you you want to drop any dates or anything? What you got?
No dates yet.
Okay.
We're still planning it out. This was kind of the test to see the full production in its full form and how it does. So home just being the testing ground for how do people receive the show. Does this full out blown thing work? Everything on that stage.
It's scalable, right?
I know,
like it was a lot of work, man.
How do we take it on tour, right? That wall was 8 feet tall and without the wheels. And then on top of that, like everything that it took to even still put all of that together, like even as simple as it looked, was is really a pretty expensive show.
No, I mean, I know what goes into a lot of this stuff, and it wasn't simple.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, for sure. I mean, I've seen big stage designs, obviously, like that's really complex, but for what you had and what you did, bro, like it wasn't a simple show.
Yeah. So we're definitely trying to take it on the road.
Okay.
Probably the first thing is we shot all 4 shows. So we're looking to do a screening of the full show at the Neon as a double feature with a documentary of behind the process. So that's the next move, and hopefully like just having that footage and being able to take that to pitch around. We have some support from Dayton Live to see how we can pitch this to other theater organizations. And it's like, all right, how can we set up some like theater orgs around some tour spots, and then what cities between those can we like make some shows happen ourselves with like our own team to kind of communicate with what's there. So,
or like what maybe goes in alignment with like here's the show, but here's like some more. I think you use like breadcrumbs. I forget what analogy you use, but like God's breadcrumbs. Like maybe you're telling some of that story as you're coming into it or something. But anyways, like, no, that's cool, man. Final question: What my wife told me to ask this. What was it? I'll think of it. Oh yeah, if you could be anybody else, who would you be?
I don't think I would want to be anybody else, man.
It's a fair answer,
I
yeah.
wouldn't want to be anybody else. I can't. I've never. For one, it took a long time for me to find like a role model. Like you remember the questions as a kid, like who do you look up to? Who's your role model? I'm like, I don't know. Everybody like Martin Luther King. And like I'm like
Heavy hitters, bro. Like,
right?
geez,
Like,
man, like nobody else.
and I was just like, I don't really have any. Like these people are cool. Like there's some people who've done great
Obviously,
things.
like we look up to that,
You
but
know. But I just never found a role model, and I think James Baldwin ended up being like that first person who was like, oh no, I really connect with this guy. Like,
was it the way that he spoke and like his story, or just like all of it?
The way he spoke.
So you have Baldwin Cafe, you know, like that's a whole thing too. But yeah,
huge inspiration for my life. I just loved how he talked about things. I love how he questioned the world. I love how he taught people to question the world. And it's crazy because like during that time of like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and you always hear the choice between the two: is it Malcolm, is it Martin? You know what I mean? But nobody knows a lot that James Baldwin was there as well, right in the middle, and not even just between them two, but between so many other civil rights activists, and who chose his route. And his route was always love. His route was still community. His route was still questioning the world and opposing systems. Like it came out differently. He was so really well spoken about understanding and breaking down the human process and experience. And that's what I really looked into and looked up to. So
do you think some of that was like he remained, I don't want to say like free from influence, maybe, but there was something about him that seemed to just like he kind of remained on his own. Some of these other, heavy hitters, if you will, like they like became into institutions almost, or like really, it was almost like bigger than life type stuff happening around them. But I felt like, I don't want to use the word nomad by any means, but just like kind of this, like he was in his own world, creating his own world for the better.
He was a writer.
Yeah, a writer.
And I think that's
what it is?
I think that is what it is about a writer. And not all writers are like that, but when you truly are committed to the perspective as a writer, like you kind of have to remain in this like fly on the wall space of just everywhere. There is no one place that you completely discard, but there is no one place that you completely attach yourself to either. And he's been in the different institutions and he took lessons from those places and still was like, nah, here's my like as unbiased as possible perspective. Here's my neutral after being here, and here. I think he just allowed himself to explore enough of the world to say, I don't necessarily want to be part of any of these things, but I'm gonna give you my critique about all of it. And I think that was helpful because, again, one of his main messages is like, question the world. Question everything you were taught, and knowing that like everything people tell you about is marketing in itself too, right? And that's where you got to discern, is this trying to sell me something? You telling me this because you're trying to sell it to me, or you telling me because you truly do want me to think for myself and find my own path? And a lot of times you see, people who are role models, icons, celebrities, whatever, living in the influencer world these days, like everything is an ad. And you think this influencer is here to like talk to you about some real shit. And it's like
you think they care about you.
Right. And then at the end of it, it's like, subscribe, like my stuff, sign up for my workshop. We got some things going on. There's always some type of,
feels like a catch almost or something. Like not a catch, but
call of action. Call to action. Yes. There's always a call to action. And people follow that so deeply. Like you can't even give a good word of just free human advice without adding a call to action. Just for the sake
of doing it.
Legit. And it reminds me of, and I know we're kind of getting off the question here.
Oh, I don't
still short answer, I wouldn't want to be nobody but myself. But to think about like pharmaceutical commercials, medicine commercials, and it's always a medicine, it's always some side effects, and it's like, why are they always trying to sell me something that's like has all of these different side effects? How come they just don't do advertisements for ways of living? Why isn't there a commercial for going outside to take a walk? You
can't make money on that. You know what I mean? Like,
having a bad day, go outside and take a walk. The sun is shining. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
No selling point, nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that is, honestly, more of the neutral space that I think James Baldwin kind of sits in. Is just like, I'm not telling you to go here. I'm not telling you to go here.
I'm not telling you not to take the medicine. I'm not telling you to go sit in the sun, but like you choose, right?
Right.
Like,
These are the things that are around you.
Yeah.
See if they work for you.
See if they work for you.
Yeah.
Man.
Question it all.
Leroy Bean, let's wrap up, man. I'm grateful you came out. Congrats on the show.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see it on tour.
Yes.
Man, dude, I don't know, I'm just kind of in a moment of gratitude. This was my first show too, so like, it's a different form, but thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, it's the same, maybe a similar feeling of like it's been that build up. I think I think I sent you the link like almost a year and a half ago of like, hey, you want to be on my show? Which I'm grateful. It actually worked out perfect because you just did this show. I got to see it.
And thank you for coming, man. Thank you for being there. Thank you for soaking it up. Thank you for listening.
Yeah,
and just being
it.
observed.
Yeah, it was really great. I was actually really glad that I went like stag and I just was like in it by myself, so I could just be there for it. Like
I'll be on that too.
Yeah, certain stuff you just want to kind of be that way about, and that was for me. So
nice.
Or I don't have any friends. I don't know one or the other.
Either way,
I took full advantage of it. But man, thanks for being on the show. Thanks for being you. I'm just grateful for you, man. That's it. So
Thank you.
we'll call it. What do you think? How was it, Zenos? Was it good? Thanks, man. Zenos on the cam. Thank you, brother. Love you.
Bless.
All right. Love y'all. See ya.
Peace.
Sick. How'd it go?
Beautiful.
Was it good?
Yes.
Good enough. Bro, thank you. Wow.